Bonsoir. Bonsoir, vous êtes avec Marie Delta et Antonio Sobral pour le Café-rave numéro 11. Je suis très contente d'accueillir Antonio. Bonsoir Antonio.
Good evening, Mariette.
Et donc ce soir, on va parler avec Antonio des Rural Sonic Communities, mais avant, on écoute un extrait de Encanto Notturno de Veronica Cerota. Restez avec nous et on continue pendant 1h30 avec Antonio et Marie Delta.
In English, please.
Indeed. We're going to switch to English now, and it's Café-rave number 11 with Antonio Sobral. Stay with us. And now you're listening to Encanto Notturno from Veronica Cerota. We're going to be together for 1 hour and a half with Antonio. Stay tuned.
We're listening to Veronica Cerota. These are field recordings made at the Fazenda São João, the São João farm where the Residência São João takes place.
And we're back. So we were listening to the sounds of the Fazenda. So again, like we are together with on Café-rave number 11 with Marie Delta and Antonio Sobral. So tonight we're like welcoming Antonio, who's like a longtime friend of mine. Antonio, you're an artist, a coffee producer, and also like the founder of the Residencia São João in Brazil, which is like an art residency, right?
Yes, it is a multidisciplinary project, which is not only an art residency, in the sense that we host also shamanic rituals and therapeutic meetings, and there's a community of farmers as well. We work with ecological farming, so it's not like a random or conventional art residency. It's an experimental project based in a rural area in the countryside of Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, very context oriented. We work with the territory, so to speak.
We're going to talk more about the project of the residency, but today is the day of independence of Brazil, and of like colonial power, and it's a symbolic date, and I wonder like what you wanted to say about it, and can you talk a little bit about the day of today?
It's not the day of colonial power, it's the day of the independence from colonial power.
Independence from colonial.
It's very important, and that's why I'd like to dedicate all of the work I've been doing and this entire day to Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, known as Lula, our former president, who worked so hard to make Brazil independent and sovereign, in the sense that a lot of people could study and work and enjoy life differently in a more autonomous way because of what he did in Brazil. So I'd like to make this dedication.
Yeah, sorry, it's like the end of colonial power and not colonial power. Sorry, my English is like I'm switching to from French to English.
I know it's tricky.
So maybe like after like talking about this, you want to like you want to play a first track? And then
okay, that's exciting. We're gonna listen to a track from my first solo album, which is unreleased, so nobody heard it yet. This is a premix, and it's a song I composed called Marulho, which is a Portuguese word defining the sound of the sea. And it's the only song I wrote in French, and there is a beautiful guitar played by Vitor Vutsky, who arranged the album, which is also called Marulho.
Okay, so we're listening to next song from Antonio, Marulho. Let's go.
Des clapotis résonnent dans un coquillage. J'entends la mer, les sons d'enfance déferlent, ces mains qui percent, ces mains qui frappent. La vie, obscurité fertile, la terre, notre destin. Distension, émotion, le noir éclair, jeu d'enfant, tonnerre, silence. Bien mystérieux, prolifique,
And we're back.
Okay, so this was a very intimate track talking about childhood and the sounds of the childhood, the sounds of the seas. And now we're going to listen to another work, another one by Veronica Serrota. It's going to be this one we're going to listen fully. And I like this song a lot. She works with synthesizers and field recordings. And I think it's also interesting for foreigner listeners because it was being released by Musica Insolita, which means insolite music, like a crazy, I don't know how to translate it. Musique insolite. Donc, so it's been released by this label from Rio, which releases many interesting experimental musicians from that scene. So we're going to listen to one by Veronica Serrota, released by Musica Insolita.
And we're back. So we were listening to Veronica Serrota, and Antonio, you were telling me yesterday that like Veronica is part is organizing the musical residency with you, Somos Cosmos. She's a sound artist, as we could hear, notably from her track, and so. First of all, I wanted to ask you, what is Somos Cosmos as a project of a residency? How long it lasts, and how does it start? Because I know it's like a special project, in a way experimental, but also catalyzing project. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, sure. So this is an experimental format which focuses on sound, on listening and on creating sounds. So it's a mix of sound art, music, I mean, different styles of music, experimental music, popular music, electronic music, and so on. And also therapeutics, in the sense we often give a grant to a therapist that works with sound. And so it's still a bit multidisciplinary, but it's focused on sound. And yeah, it's a 2-week-long project in which residents come from all over the world. We make an open call, and we create a group, and we create a collaborative calendar. And yeah, it's a very intense moment of sharing and producing music and sound art.
But like, can you talk a little bit about the beginning of the residency? Like you said, like at the beginning you walk together and you do meditation.
Yeah, that's a story that kind of tells of the spirit. When people get there, so imagine this van with 15 people that don't know each other from different continents, literally. And when they get there, before introducing themselves, we go for a walk, and then we're silently listening to the evening sounds, you know, when the crickets and the frogs are awakening. And then we come back to the house, maybe we eat a little something, and then there is a concert. So this concert is prepared by the crew, because everyone who organizes the residency are artists, musicians themselves. And it's a really artist-run project, and we get there 1 week before. So we're planning all the spaces and creating all the atmospheres that things would like to happen, right? So setting up studios, spaces for recording, for rehearsing, etc. And also rehearsing this premiere, this welcome concert, kind of. So the idea is that people get there and they've been through all these experiences, which can be pretty mind-blowing, you know, especially like the setting is pretty beautiful too. So usually people are very impressed because of the nature, the tropical like nature there, and the mountains.
Can you describe a little bit the landscape in Fazenda Saint-Jean?
Yeah.
Just so that we have a picture of the residency for the listeners who don't know it. I know it.
Yes, we're in the mountains. So they're pretty soft mountains, I guess. It's about 800 meters high, and it's full of forests. Actually, most of the land is covered by forest there, and there are lots of birds and beautiful trees and little creeks and little lakes, and yeah, it's a very beautiful place to be with nature and to be calm. And also, like the house, the main house where the project happened is a historic house, and it has a very good library, and has a collection of musical instruments and of art too, of visual art. And so it's a pretty amazing setting to be focused on creating work, researching, experimenting, and so on. So just to finish what I was telling, because I was talking about this experience. So the idea is that like people live all these things, and then later, okay, they like socialize, whatever, and only the second day we make an official like presentation thing. When I say official, it's like around a fire outside under the stars, but it's kind of official. So each one says like what is he aiming, you know, being there, what he wants to create, like what's his project, his goals, etc. And the idea is that we find these bondings, and also like what can this group achieve. So this is very important to the experimentation we're driving to, because we ask people, what do you want to learn and what can you teach? And then we create a collaborative agenda. What was it? I was talking about that earlier. A collective calendar. So in this collective agenda, people can put like readings, like, oh, let's read this text about the history of experimental music, or let's listen to this piece by X composer, or let's make this specific improvisation thing, or watch a movie, etc. Or also like therapeutic sessions, sometimes yoga and other things. And then each 2-3 days we meet again and discuss like, oh, that there's too much going on, we should not do this, or maybe this and this can go together. and also, of course, people are there to create and be free. So it's not like a school. We are totally institutional. So you might not want to go to these things, or you might want to go. The thing is that you are focused on your purpose, but it is important for the project that there is this collective dimension, and also creation, that people create together. So a lot of things have been recorded there, bands have been created, films made, and so on, and this reverberate a lot later. So that's why we say it's like a moment of cluster, of catalyzing ideas and experiences, which will reverberate for years after that.
Maybe we can listen to some tracks from Somos Cosmos, or following tracks you had in mind. And we're gonna continue to talk about Somos Cosmos, because
Great.
it's an amazing project.
Yeah.
Tell me.
So we can listen now to Little Girl, which is a song I had composed before, but then I mean, it was based on the song I had composed. So this is another composition which I did with Felipe Neiva and Gabriel Eder, two amazing singer-songwriters from Brazil. And it is performed amazingly by Nia, this singer from Philadelphia. And there is Dwayne Kapula in the drums from Zimbabwe, and Watson in the bass clarinet. And it's a really short song that we composed and recorded during the residency. And it was everything really made there collectively.
Okay, here we go for Little Girl. Stay tuned. You're listening to Café-rave number 11 with Antonio Sobral.
The little girl screams, waking up the house. Mommy, a beast in my face.
Oh, what a dreadful night.
Bells ring in the valley. Then nature changes. A tree is a body. A branch is a bone. The arabesque town is all painted purple. There's people and dust everywhere. And she bleating out loud. 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 And she bleating out loud.
This is Little Girl. It's available at our Bandcamp, sonsocosmos.bandcamp. And now we're going to listen to a little excerpt of an improvisation, because these are really important. We talk a lot about the different things about improvisation. We read texts about it, and it's a central part to improvise. And so we're going to listen to just a little excerpt. This was recorded during the first Sonsocosmos residency, curated by me and Marina Marquesan. And there's a bunch of people playing in it. I know we can listen to a little flute. Well, there's so many people playing it. I can't say the names, but yeah. So this is called Improviso number 2. It's also at our Bandcamp in the Escória do Basalto record.
Little Girl was amazing, by the way. It's very jazzy. The voice is amazing.
Cool. So yeah, and there's a pretty crazy thing. Yeah, the voice is amazing. Like Nia, she was telling me that singing the blues for her, it's like maybe
Bluesy,
singing
yeah.
samba for us because it's so in her skin, you know. So she also adapted the melody. Actually, it's pretty amazing what she's doing there, and the bass clarinet by Watson too, like gives such a feeling. And the drums by Capula, it's crazy because he was playing like with, I don't know, objects from the house. He improvised a drum really DIY. It was funny. Like, and Navo is playing a violin with whatever other object in it. Like, it sounds kind of classic, but it's so improvised in so many different levels. Yeah.
The singing, like the chorus, yeah.
Yeah, the chorus was a vibe like we're in a bar, kind of, the guys like, da, da, da.
Male chorus, amazing.
Yeah, by me, Gabriel Eda, and Felipe Neiva.
Amazing. So let's listen to Improviso. And here we go, Improviso. And we're back.
I'd like to say something about this because this was recorded in our first music residency, and it was really do-it-yourself. I mean, we didn't have a budget and we're looking for support. And the guy called Elice Varela lent us like amazing equipment. And this guy like recorded like Gal Costa and many important singers. Like he toured all over the world. And it was so generous of him. And I wanted to make this homage because he passed away this week. And he really made it possible because we had like fantastic recording equipment that we could never afford with the participation fee that we asked, which is basically only covering the costs generating by the project. So yes, I'd like to thank Elice for his very generous support and wish him a good trip.
And this track is like really like from a jam, like from.
Yeah, I mean, Carla Boregas told me, she explained to me, I guess, I don't know if it's right, that a jam is when you're trying to repeat something that exists in the music world that you can recognize, like trying to make these patterns, and improvisation is something else, which is like trying not to get into these patterns. So I would call this an improvisation, if that's not too...
So it's like contrary to antithesis to a jam, like
yeah,
really
it's not a
different.
jam. I don't think it's a jam, but maybe it's a jam. I don't know.
But it's like it's really amazing how it's like it grows and like you have like all this, I don't know, this little sound is like yeah.
Yeah, I remember some things. I remember a little flute by Alexandre Fenerich is a fantastic musician from the experimental scene in Rio. I think he's now living in Germany. And there was this other guy with a collection of percussions that was making it, and yeah.
And like talking again about Somos Cosmos.
I'm sorry if I may correct you. It's Som Só Cosmos. I know
Som Só Cosmos.
Everyone it's really hard to say it. I know.
So you were saying like it's a sharing of knowledge. It's very horizontal. The project, and also there's a very strong idea of therapeutic art, therapy in art. Can you elaborate more about it? Can you talk more about what, how musicians teach each other an instrument or something else? Or can you talk a little bit more about the resilience?
Yeah, I can just mention some activities not necessarily related to therapy. I guess this therapy, it would be more like a baseline or something accompanying the whole project, in the sense that the fact that we have these meetings to, I don't know, do yoga with some experimental electronic music accompanying it, which is, I don't know, meditative. And the fact that we have it every day or something like that, really people can benefit from it and be more focused. But I wouldn't say it is a therapeutic residency. It's just like an extra thing that people can benefit from, right? So I can mention maybe some things that happen. One of them is this guy who is a black activist and kind of a cyberpunk guy from São Paulo, Felinto, but he's really tender, and he made these relaxation workshops where we're doing I don't know, self-massage or dance, and it was really, I don't know, really good vibes kind of, the thing he brought. So he proposed these activities. There was a therapist from Argentina once collaborating with a musician. I mean, we had different, Vanessa Sacca, who was proposing yoga, and Maximo Signorini developed music for this yoga practice. And it was cool because we had this open studios day, and a school came from the village nearby, because we have partnership with many schools and we're all the time proposing things for the community. It's really important that we're not in an island, we're in a territory, right? And you know, we're in a place where people are very religious and very conservative and very right-wing, la la la. So for these people, usually, even meditating is considered something devilish and forbidden. And when the students got there, we proposed, the first thing that we proposed to them was this session of yoga with electronic music. And they were a bit bothered. I mean, kind of a little bit, not so much. Actually, they really participated and they were really into it. Only 2 of them among 20 didn't, and they loved it. And they were like, this was amazing. So it's something really different that we proposed to them, hopefully mind-opening too. And yeah.
So it's not a therapeutic residency, but there is an angle you like to have, about therapy there, or you invite people
we
more in that direction.
Either we invite a therapist or we give a grant usually, and we say that this grant is available for someone who has a therapeutic approach or educational, or we also give grants to black or indigenous people or people from the suburbs of the big cities or from rural areas, people who are outside the main power centers and who in Brazil usually have less opportunities. So because otherwise we ask for people to pay a fee, it's a non-lucrative project, but as we're independent, it just pays the cost. And also helps giving, I mean, we eventually have some supports, but that's how we make it. And then
and about the exchange of knowledge, can you talk a little bit more about it? Because there's also something political about it, that you don't have to pay to learn. You can exchange your knowledge or savoir-faire. Or can you talk a bit?
Yeah, maybe I can drive from my own experience, because I studied cinema, but I was doing visual arts, and then I went to an artist residency many years ago. And for me, it was amazing because I had never been to art school. So just the fact of being with other artists and seeing their practice and talking about whatever, their materials, their approach, their knowledge, it was so enriching for me. So I guess every residency, every immersive experience brings that. And we try to make it more available in a way, because this is, I don't want to say it's a capital, but I don't know, it's power too. Knowledge is power. So, it's the opportunity for all these people to interact and to exchange worldviews and knowledge. Like we've had workshops about, I don't know, editing in Ableton Live. So it can range from learning a software to how to present yourself in the music business world. It can be very pragmatic, but then it can be completely experimental. Like, doing improvisations after reading specific texts by John Cage and la la la. So, yeah. But then it goes according to the group, to the interest of the group, and it's completely magical and crazy, unexpected, because each group is completely different, and we never know what's gonna happen. It's just really intense every time and different, yeah.
So it's a good school also, in a way.
Yeah, I don't like school, but yeah.
You don't like the world school? The world?
No, I didn't like to go to school as a child. I would go to the beach a lot of the times, and I didn't finish university. I'm not a very scholar guy, but no, yeah. I mean,
okay,
I understand what you meant.
Okay, so let's continue to listen some music. Would you want to introduce the next track? Cool.
Yeah, since I'm in Paris and all these people from all over the world certainly listening to us, I want to present, very beautiful tracks. So I'm not only showing things produced in the residency, but by this community of artists. As I was saying, the crew is made by artists too. So one of the guys who's been working with us is Gabriel Eder, this composer from São Paulo, who just released this very beautiful track. I love the lyrics. I don't know if you will get it if you don't speak Portuguese, but hopefully someday you'll get it because it's amazing. And it's called A Beleza da Deformação, recently released by Gabriel Eder. Oh yes, it actually changed the title. Sorry, this was the same track but the old title. So the new version and the new title is A Demência dos Touros, so the madness of bulls.
Okay, let's listen to it and let's continue to talk about it after.
The madness of bulls.
Okay, let's listen to it.
Para sempre não visto, eu quero que seja para sempre não vista a forma partidária da beleza, que seja para sempre não vista, que seja para sempre não visto o tempo que se desperdiça com a beleza. Eu quero que seja para sempre não vista a beleza em forma de tempo. Eu quero que seja para sempre não vista. Eu quero que espere na curva a beleza. Eu quero que o tempo espere na curva. Eu quero que o tempo espere na esquina. Eu quero a esquina como curva. Eu quero todas as curvas da beleza como tempo. Eu quero que o tempo arredonde a esquina. Eu quero que o tempo me espere na esquina e se ocupe de arredondá-la. Eu quero que seja para sempre não visto. Eu quero que o tempo arredonde a esquina por tempo suficiente. Eu quero que por tempo suficiente a beleza se curve. Eu quero que tudo que curva seja para sempre não visto. Eu quero a beleza apodrecendo lentamente atrás da esquina. Eu quero que lentamente o tempo arredonde a esquina. Eu quero lentamente a esquina que se dilui. Eu lentamente quero que seja pra sempre não vista a beleza em forma de esquina, a esquina que perde a forma, o tempo que deforma a esquina, a beleza da deformação. Eu quero lentamente a beleza da deformação. Eu quero lentamente a beleza. Eu quero lentamente a beleza. Eu quero lentamente a beleza. Eu quero lentamente a beleza da deformação.
Gabriel, this was Gabriel Ede, Gabriel Ed, and I met him through Vitor Vutsky, and they both studied in the music school of Campinas, Unicamp, and curiously we have had many artists that come from Campinas. Fortunately, they're great. And Vitor is an elf. How should I talk about him? He's a very, very special guy. He's kind of shy and, I don't know, very tender and an amazing musician. He really tuned the guitar differently every time, and he's very experimental, even though he has very good technical knowledge. He's all the time trying things, and he's a very interesting artist also. Like, he draws really well, he writes amazing poems. He's really young, he's like 26 years old, I guess. He already released some recordings and some records, including some really noisy stuff. And anyways, so yeah, Gabriel Ede came to the residency through Vitor, who just applied, I guess, randomly. And so Victor has been collaborating with the residency. He's been there a few times, and he produced my first record, which is gonna be out soon, Marulho. And he also just released a single called Nuvens, which means skies. And I hope you can get a grip of his arrangement and like strange, I don't know, kind of no wave, folk style. I don't know, it's very specific, kind of pop, but strange. He loves silver apples, little reference.
Wow, amazing.
So we're gonna, and also Fellini, this no wave band from São Paulo. It was a big, including a big reference, I guess, to him and to us too. So we're gonna listen to Nuvens by Vitor Vutsky.
Pedras ficam paradas no chão. Pedras ficam paradas no chão. Vitórias régias ficam boiando na água. Vitórias régias boiando na água. Elevadores só sobem e descem. Elevadores só sobem e descem. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Nuvens, 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 nuvens. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Pedras ficam paradas no chão. régias ficam paradas no chão. Vitórias régias ficam boiando na água. Vitórias régias boiando na água. Elevadores só sobem e descem. Elevadores só sobem e descem. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Pessoas vão pra todos os lugares. Nuvens, 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 nuvens. Sempre que eu peço uma pista, o mapa muda de tesouro. Sempre que eu peço uma pista, o mapa muda de tesouro. Nuvens, 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 nuvens.
It's really beautiful, and we really hear, I don't know if the listeners know very well this band that I really like, Fellini, but we hear a lot of influence, notably with like his really like low pitch voice. I really like this a bit like dark wave, big dark wave. And after this, you have another track. You worked with him on a track. Maybe you want to talk about it? We're gonna play this.
Yeah, so this was Nuvens, a single by Vitor Vutsky, available in Spotify, Bandcamp, etc. And Vitor Vutsky arranged my upcoming record called Marulho, Soon Close to You. And he not only arranged, but this specific song we're gonna listen, we composed the song together, and he arranged, and he plays the keyboard, and he plays the bass and cellos. And in this track, we're gonna listen to the band, which are two amazing musicians playing the synthesizers, which is really cool. One is Laura Zimmermann. Laura Zimmermann, she works with field recordings for cinema and experimental music, and she plays the synthesizers. And also Veronica Serrota, who we listened to earlier. So it's the four of us playing. I'm singing with Victor, and it's mixed by Gabriel Ede. So this is gonna be Vista, still unreleased, just a sneaky preview.
Dois, três e... Não estão em meus olhos caracóis, pedras brancas, pinheiros e tufos de ervas. A restinga desce a montanha e vai ao sol, do lado de fora o mar. Luz de ouro queimando sua orla, do lado de dentro da lagoa, sereníssimo espelho. Nela o céu se admira e os montes se perdem. O diáfano sutiliza azuis, cinzas, violetas, laranjas, todas as cores em tons pastel, todas as cores em tons pastel, todas as cores em tons pastel. Acabaram as baterias, a Borsós desapareceu, desligando celulares e trens e fotografias. Os erros e os problemas latejam sua vida, mas já não anseio resposta. A estrada sobe pronto. Caracóis, pedras brancas, pinheiros e tufos de ervas. A restinga desce a montanha e vai ao sol. Do lado de fora o mar, luz de ouro queimando sua orla. Do lado de dentro da lagoa, sereníssimo espelho. Nela o céu se admira e os montes se perdem. O diáfano sutiliza azuis, cinzas, violetas, laranjas. Todas as cores em tons pastel. Todas as cores em tons pastel. Todas as cores em tons pastel.
Wow, this is so beautiful. Like all the instruments. So Victor did a lot of instruments, but there were other, like, how many musicians on this track?
Yeah, I was telling you, it was two girls playing the synthesizers, Laura Zimmermann and Veronica Serrota.
But it seems like there are many more people.
Yeah, me and Victor singing, and Victor playing a bunch of things. I don't remember who was playing what, if I was playing something specific. I played piano in some tracks, and Victor too, and Veronica too, and Laura played the chord.
There are 10 people playing.
Yeah, we recorded like dozens of tracks, and then at the end, Victor, they did a lot of post-production work because we had so many different possibilities for this one. Different from, I don't know, Marulho, which we listened before, which was like one take. We recorded and that's it. But this one was like, we tried many things.
And about the COVID situation, these past years, how did you cope with it as a residency? And I know you released some records. Can you talk about how you survived the pandemic, or how you coped with it?
It was really tricky because, a residency, especially this one, where we're living together in the same house, can't exist. Couldn't with the confinement. So we stopped doing the residencies. But it's also very interesting because in the same time people were going away from cities. So a lot of artist friends and farmers too were seeking for a place to go. And so a lot of people came to live in the farm where we're at. So nowadays we're 20 people living there. And also we built a new space. So now we can host residents all year round for 1 month residencies. Not the Sonsa Cosmos, like autonomous residency, but in contact with this beautiful place and the community and the resources we have there. And anyway, so we created this residency space. People came to live there. Houses were renovated. Vegetable gardens grown. So it was very interesting what happened to the territory, and it's still happening a lot. We're in the middle of it. And
but this was a result of the pandemic?
yes, because people went to live there. People who would come like for a residency or for short stays or something. They went to live there, and people were seeking alternatives because life was really hard in an apartment in town. It was nicer to be confined in the countryside where you have a little community and you can get out of home and be in nature. So
they decided to come to the fazenda to live.
Yeah, of course, I was working to create conditions that were nice to that, and also there is also an association of farmers there, and a lot of people want to live there too, who are my neighbors. So I guess it all built together, and there's a lot of exchange between this community of farmers and this community of artists, which is all the time getting bigger. And so there is two things that I would like to mention. One is this new residency space, which is called the Residência Figueira, which is an old stables that it's now a beautiful house, and amazing artists are going there. So we're not accepting foreigners, but we will be from next year on. So do not hesitate to apply and come to spend time with us all year round at the Figueira Residency, which you can check at our website, www.residenciasaojoão.com. You can apply there. And the other thing which happened even before the Figueira is that we were thinking, okay, how can we survive artistically too, in the sense that proposing collaborative art. And so with Veronica, we're thinking about it, and we got inspired by postal art. This movement, I guess a lot exploited by fluxus, where artists were sending each other material through the post and then adding to it and creating this hybrid art objects, which are very far away from the artist, God, star thing. It's much more a flow of creativity. And then we had the idea of the Cupid record, because it was something cute and nice, like the Cupid, he throws an arrow and then you're in love and you don't even know why. So we launched this open call, open to anyone interested, and we asked only two things in the application form, which were, who are you and what do you desire? So according to the answers, we got lots of applications from different places in the world, literally Patagonia, Siberia, Jordania, a lot of regions of Brazil. And it was also very hard because we had different styles and approaches, and some people were really talented, but were like, how can we fit, And we made choices. I mean, it was not only like the best musicians. It was like things that had an interesting sound and that would fit with, interesting collaborations. And we released a record called Disco Cupido, which is available at our Bandcamp. And the result is pretty amazing. We were very impressed because it was a challenge. People had only 1 month. They didn't know each other most of the time. And they had to know each other, compose, create a piece, and mix, edit everything, from a distance without knowing each other within 1 month. So it was hectic, and we're going to listen now to two tracks. The first one is a collaboration by the São Paulo singer Lorena Pipa, who lives in Rio. Dan Odan, who is a percussionist and electronic musician living in Bahia, from Rio. And Hossam Omran, composer from Jordania, who is really talented. He's been to the residency too, and he's coming back for 3 months at the Figueira residency, so he'll soon be back with us. And we can listen the percussions by Dan Odan, maybe some electronic things, and I guess general arrangement by Hossam, and beats too. The low voice of Hossam singing in Arabic, and the high voice of Lorena singing in English, I guess. So this is called Del El Mohet, released in Disco Cupido.
بيجي من المحيط الحب بيجي من المحيط الحب بيجي من المحيط الحب بيجي من المحيط
Amazing voices, really amazing voices. I really like the voice of his name is Hossam.
Hossam Omran.
I mean, I like both voices, but there's it's funny, his voice and the treatment of his voice, the effect of the on the voice, like auto tune a little bit makes me think of the electronic scene in Jordania, with they use a lot of effects on the voice. So and also like the electronic aspect of the song. It reminds me a bit of the music scene in Jordania. So really beautiful track. Before we continue with another track from Disco Cupido, I want to tell the listeners online, come to the chat of Mixcloud, and you can ask any questions to Antonio.
Ask anything.
And Antonio will try to reply to them.
I will.
So think about questions you want to ask him, and after one song, I'm gonna say them from the chat. But Antonio, you had another track to make us listen from Disco Cupido.
Yes. So while you're thinking of your questions, we'll leave you with Ether Love by Boris Nunes Marques, Anderson Kaltner, and Mari Romano.
And we're back.
So this was Love, part of Disco Cupido, by Mari Romano, an amazing composer, singer from Rio. Boris Nunes, very creative and prolific composer from Portugal. And Anderson Kaltner, this electronic musician and very interesting contemporary artist, more conceptual artist, from Campinas as well. And we're gonna listen.
Track.
Yeah, the next track is by Anderson Kaltner too. It's a solo track he recorded during the Som Só Cosmos residency, and I picked it up because I like this chilled vibes kind of. I think it's nice for the radio, for the afternoon. It's a short track called Ouro Só.
This was short.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Trippy. And I'd like to ask you a question because, EfferalGang is amazing and it's also super do-it-yourself. We're in the same kind of vibe and autonomous thing. And so Mariette, who is Marie Delta, who's an amazing musician who's interviewing me, for people in Brazil who might maybe not know her, check it out. She has been to the residency and she started a project there. So maybe you'd like to talk a little bit about BCBG and maybe we can listen to something before the end of the show.
So now you're interviewing me.
Yeah.
Yes, actually. Yeah, we haven't talked about it on the show and it's a shame.
I know.
It's really important. It's like I went to Fazenda Saint-Jean and I went there for the first edition, which was amazing. It was 1 month and we didn't have internet. That really struck in my mind, in my memories. And I was coming to compose on my own, but then I was coming with this friend, Samuel, who's a really dear friend of mine from France. as well, and we started to jam together, and we started a band together. So thanks to Fazenda, San Juan, and Antonio, I started this band with Samuel, this band called BCBG. And the first tracks, the first EP we've done was made at the Fazenda San Juan, at the residency, and it was like amazing, really inspiring to be in the Fazenda, to compose, especially lyrics, and also the fact that we didn't have any amp at the beginning made us experiment a lot with a synthesizer, and I kind of left a little bit my guitar because I didn't have any amp. So I think also it shaped a bit the sound that is kind of DIY, but also like very full of synthesizer. And we can listen to one track from BCBG.
Sure. And BCBG is Mariette Auvray and Samuel Trifot. Yeah, we have to mention this amazing producer who is the other half
Samuel
of
Trifot.
BCBG. Excited.
Producer. we produced both.
Oh, you
both,
produced
both
together.
Yeah, we
okay,
produced
cool.
together. Yeah,
Sorry.
because it's not only the man who produced. But yeah, we produced together. Even the beats we really produced together. It really was like at the beginning, from the beginning we produced together. It was a good, for me, I would say school. It was a good school also to learn how to produce, especially with that band.
So we're talking about 2012. There were no amps in the farm, the very first residency.
Yes.
And there was no internet. I mean, all these things occasionally exist now.
We can listen to White Trees, this track called White Trees, and the lyrics are, maybe I can say them in French and translate them, because they are really, I really remember this moment. I was in one living room of the Fazenda, and I was writing these lyrics. And I was looking at the trees, so white trees. They were the palm trees were really, I would say not white, but very had a clear color. And it's a combination of impression from the Fazenda, but also, if I recall well, impression from the people also in around me. And my connection with palm trees.
Sounds nice.
Because they were whispering to me, and so it was this moment. So it's a collection of impression. Like imagine a painting of the Fazenda at a one instant. And we never talked about this actually. But
I didn't know the story. It's amazing.
So I can say the lyrics before. I think that's
please.
Cool. So the lyrics are like. Les fleurs sont rouges, mon corps est blanc, les palmiers murmurent la direction. So the flowers are red, my body's white, the palm trees whisper the direction. Le vent étouffera le rire des gens. The wind will muffle people's laugh. And then in English, I went on a journey into the sky, see the stars falling down, see the stars falling. So it's like me traveling in the sky. And then it's like les fleurs sont vives, mon cœur est bleu, rayon de lumière, vase hollandais. Flowers are bright, my heart is blue, ray of light, vase from Holland. Holland vase. So my heart is blue. Obviously, it's very melancholic again. And then le son de leurs pieds sur le sol. And then I went on a journey into the sky, see the stars falling down, see the stars falling. So it's kind of my mind traveling and with all these voices around me, and the palm trees around me also whispering, as well as people. Voilà.
Wow. Okay, so White Trees by BCBG, recorded in 2012, composed at the first San Juan residency. So this was a beautiful, epic journey. I'm really proud that this amazing project started at the residency, and they toured a lot and recorded a lot. So BCBG, if you still don't know it. And
White Trees, the song is called White Trees. Yeah.
White Trees, yes. Okay, shall we finish?
Do you want to...
yes, there is one last track I'd
yes,
really like
yes,
to
yes.
play, because it's a recent release by Felinto. This fabulous...
Yes, Felinto is amazing. We should listen to him. There's still some chance to ask some questions if you want, but then if not, we're gonna listen to Felinto.
Yeah, so this is from his record Antigo Futuro Perpétuo, released by a UK label, and the cassette is sold out, and it's been having amazing reviews, and it's really cool. It's kind of dub. I mean, this whole album I really like. It's a collaboration with a drummer from Martinique who lives in São Paulo. I forgot his name, but it's written in Bandcamp. So this is Felinto, and their song is called Chroma.
back. This was Felinto, Chroma, really, really beautiful, very hypnotic. Actually, there are some questions in the chat from Samuel. Hello, Samuel. So Samuel has 2 questions, Antonio. Three questions. So first question is, do you have some new upcoming projects in the future, like you did with coffee, or you will focus on what you do these past years? So I would guess it's about coffee, but also about residencies. And also, can we find your coffee in Europe?
No, you cannot find my coffee in Europe, but you can find it in Rio, São Paulo, and in the region. We try to work locally. And well, I am producing more coffee, so you might find it in Europe next year or something, because I'll have more production, and then it will make sense to export, even though I didn't want to, because I wanted to sell locally. So yeah, regarding projects, I mean, I do work multitasking kind of. So there is the residency. The Figueira residency is a new project that we're still experimenting. The house is getting alive and things are happening. So yeah, there is the Figueira residency, and then there is this record, Marulho. I'm working on the music videos. I already directed 3. I want to make music videos for all of them. Yeah, that's about the projects for now. And yeah, it is hard to make them. I don't work alone. I have people working with me in the coffee plantation, and so I can, travel and do other projects as well. But it is pretty intense to do it all.
And also, Sam asks, who is this cat in the picture? Is this cat from the residence?
This cat is called Sweet. It's my cat. I have 2 cats, Esther and Sweet, Memega.
And also, he has another question. How did you get more into this therapeutic side at the residency?
Oh,
how did you develop this?
That's very interesting. I guess my experience with shamanic rituals brought my attention to organizing my spiritual life, and also to be more present in a way, like less hysterical. I don't know, to be more to kind of heal some stressful or traumatic things I had in me. And also that thing I was talking about, learning, being in this context. So it's a mix of it all. And then also in the last Verãozão residency, which is another format, we had a tantric therapist, which really changed my life. It was the most powerful thing I ever experienced for healing, and made me feel so good. And then I started studying to be a tantric therapist, and then I
didn't know there was a tantric shaman.
Not a shaman, a therapist. Yeah, he came to the Verãozão residency, and I hope he will be able to come to the next Verãozão. We're talking already, which will happen in January next year. And it was just really beautiful and powerful, like very cleansing, and just something that made me feel light and full. So yeah, these experiences are what make existence worth. I mean, I really wish I had more concentration and time and generosity to focus on this therapeutic approach. For now, it's just really something not so central, but yeah, therapeutic and spiritual. I mean, I guess I like when they connect.
Well, thank you, Antonio. I think we've reached the end. So this was Café-rave number 11, called Rural Sonic Community. Thank you very much. This was really, really great to travel with all the tracks you shared today.
Thank you.
Maybe we can have a last track to finish the show.
Oh my god, a last track. This is not scheduled. So let's go with Patience Précipitée, maybe.
Okay.
So before the Disco Cupido, we had tried one postal record before, which was called Disco Postal. And there is a track composed by Alessandra from São Paulo, Robbie from Argentina, and Mariette from Paris, called Patience Précipitée. Mariette aka Marie Delta. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, so it should be here again. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Sorry, anything. And hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to go to www.residenciasaojoão.com if you want to read texts, see films, and know more about the residencies. Do not hesitate to apply, ask us questions, and you can find us on social media at Instagram, rsj_agroarte, rsj_agroarte, and Facebook, facebook.com/São João, Bandcamp, SoundCloud, etc.
And we're going to put the track list.
Yeah, so Patience Précipitée from Disco Postal.
Yes.
This was a postal art initiative, but only aimed to ex-residents. We only contacted people who were part of the residency in order to strengthen this network, and also made encounters among people who were in different moments but in the same place.
And so I collaborated with two artists, one from Buenos Aires and one from São Paulo, and we composed the track. We were not in the same place, of course, and we composed it from afar, so we would send each other the instruments. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks everyone.
Good evening.
Have a nice evening.